Eva O. This is my third question and answer video short. I am pleased to announce that I have released Mass for the Evil on Your Soul's Destruction. Eva O Destruction. It is on Bandcamp, Eva O. Wow. It's best to listen to all the way through. They all run together, every song. Watch a movie, but instead listen with your eyes closed and no interruptions, and enjoy it. Also, I've been releasing videos and just want everybody to know that I have a YouTube account. It's Deathstruction Production. The links to these are on my Facebook and on this video. Mental Mayhem will be finished at the end of this year, meaning that it will not be available as a CD or digital after this year. And we will move on to record Cold as Far, which is the whole story of Mental Mayhem, and that will be put out this year sometime. Question time. The first question was about my beloved Iceman. Iceman. There's kind of. And if you note her eyeball, I wish you looked now. She has an eyeball in there. Oops. And her eyeball kind of fell. She's looking down. But this guitar has been through the ringer. I bought it when they first came out with Iceman. I saw the Iceman in the Circus magazine. It was Paul Stanley, of course, his model, and he was using it, and he had I guess just started using it, or that's the first time I saw it, and I went bonkers. I was already had Stratocaster on layaway at this guitar store, and I was going to make my last payment, and I walked in there, and there she was, sitting brand new. Just got there a few hours before. I asked, could I get that instead? Yeah, they let me, and so I went home with my Iceman, which I've had ever since then. That's always been the same guitar. I painted the guitar like 3 different times. Not one part on this is original, except for the fretboard and the body. Even the bridges are changed and everything. Everything! Couldn't help it. I'm one of those custom type of people. I always have to change stuff. Can't leave it be. Iceman is my favorite, and I would never get rid of it. It's actually my only guitar. I have the Angel guitar, my ESP, which is beautiful and artistic, but still my Iceman is my favorite. Never been in a studio where they've liked it, and always been kind of bugged about that because it's my record, right? Have I thought of doing a rock opera? I've been approached a few times about people throwing that idea at me, and I myself do see me going more in the theatrical format with my stage visuals and stuff. On this next tour, start playing better venues that will allow for that kind of thing. People don't usually understand what it takes to do a performance, and there's a lot of bands who just go on stage and play their instruments and leave, but everything counts. Lighting, everything. You wanted to know what my first concert was? Well, okay, Sly and the Family Stone opened for Cheech and Chong at the Flamingo Hilton, and that was my first concert. I begged my dad to take me to that, and it was a little embarrassing because people were smoking pot and I was with my dad and I was feeling really awkward, but it was really interesting to see. I was blown away. Cheech comes on stage and starts spitting on everybody, and I'm like, what? This is crazy. This is pre-punk days. Oh, it's around punk days, I guess, probably. Yeah, it's in the early 70s, so it's right before the punk era. So, yeah. That was my first concert. And Sly and the Family Stone, that was awesome. Why wasn't Paris on the From the Heart CD? I think that From the Heart, by then, the band was broken up. And me and Roz realized we had another CD to do. So we decided to just do it acoustic. So that's the reason why. It was put together. It took so long to get that. It was almost like there was a curse on that CD. It wouldn't come out. We'd start recording it, and something would happen where we couldn't get into the studio, then the guy would disappear, then somebody else would disappear, and that would go wrong, and this would break, that would go there, the car crashed, that guy went over there, cliff, this, that, blah. Yeah, so it was a big, crazy mess. And then eventually, it got released like the week after Roz passed. Okay, so about the Night Stalker, you asked about the song, about him, about all that. When I was like in my 20s, so was he, and I read some article right when he got arrested in People magazine. It was, I guess, words that he said, and I related to it a lot. And I don't know, certain things. I had a very obsessive mind, especially back then, and so I started growing an obsession on his words. And I wrote a song. I wrote the Night Stalker for him. And then after I wrote the song, I wanted to play the song for him so he can hear it. Not play it physically, but play the CD for him so he can hear it, or the song for him on a tape. And so I got his address, and I wrote him about 31 letters. And I sent all 31 letters to him. And then, like, a few days later, I got 31 letters back from him, written to me. He answered every one of my letters. And then we started writing every day and talking on the phone. And then he got a court order, because he had closed all his visits when he first got arrested. And so he got a court order and had me go to court so I could be allowed in to visit. And it's history from there. I started visiting him every day, and was he nice to me? It's a weird question to ask, because believe it or not, he was the one positive thing I had at that time in my life. And he would always try to lead me towards a better direction and not to be so hateful and angry at the world. He would always say that he didn't want me to end up like him. We did have a friendship. But he did have some kind of compassion towards me, that he wanted me to do right and good. Got to remember in life is that what we do is not free. There's always a payment in the end. That was with Kathy and Jill. I now know her. I think we sounded the heaviest and the most together, and we looked pretty cool then too. And that was right before I got with Roz. We were always friends, but that was right before we ended up moving in with each other and becoming more of an exclusive item. So, ultra long, and then we moved to San Francisco, me and Roz, and that's when I broke up the Superheroines. But I remember a lot of those days. Those were really fun, and I loved when Kathy started in the band. It was I don't know, it was just complete. All three of us. I thought it was a good unit. And then the Sacred War album, that came, that offer came, and we donated Night Stalker, because that's one they wanted to use, and that was, I was really happy to be on that record, that CD. Anton LaVey's on it, and Boyd Rice, and that was just really ultra cool to me. So, I don't know how many of you have heard Sacred War or have it, but it's a cool little compilation CD. Do you keep in touch with Nathan Vanella and Eric Clayton? We've lost touch. Recently I've tried to get in touch with Eric Clayton and Nathan, and I spoke with Nathan a couple of times, and so we've just touched base recently. I've tried to get a hold of Eric Clayton and have had no luck with that. I don't see any future projects with them. Eric Clayton and Savior Machine is really, I love that band. They have a lot of good dramatics, and you know I love dramatics in music. So yes, I enjoyed working with Eric Clayton when we did Holy Night, and that was like a really unique day. And the other question was, am I going to Budapest? I don't know. I have no tours planned right now for Europe, and I will be working on that sometime this year, so we will see. This completes video short 3. Thank you for your support. I'll be looking for your questions for next week. Bye.